What is your first name? Because everybody call you JP. What should I call you tonight besides JP?
My name is Jameek.
Jameek.
But when I started comedy, people had such a hard time saying it, Jimique. And then white people especially, they was like Jimmy Q, Jamiquai, Jamariquai. Can I call you Jimmy? So I just decided to just say JP because that's my father's nickname. And I just wanted to honor my father. And justice is what I want to do in the business. So that's what JP came in.
Wow. So that's the meaning behind it. See, you never know. So the justice, because you stand for justice.
I stand on my word.
That's excellent. Excellent. So you live in New York City now. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
Are you a native?
Born and raised, third generation Harlem. I'm born and raised in Harlem. Moved to the Bronx and did my teen adolescence years. Then I got cultivated on Staten Island. That's where I met my wife, and that's where things became clear to me as far as what I need to do as business. And now I'm back in the Bronx. Wow.
So let's talk about this, JP. Tell us a little bit about your background. We know you're from Harlem. I'm from Harlem too, 125th Street, Wagner Projects, between 1st and 2nd Avenue. And so we know what it's like.
That's where my baby mother from, for real.
Oh, wow. So we know what it's like to come from New York City. But tell us about your childhood, siblings, small family, large family, a little bit about your history.
I can't read the comments. So listen, I'm born and raised. I'm one of 11 kids. My mother had 11 kids. So I've always been a part of a big family. I was always a mischievous dude. Like I was always that kid that the teacher had to call, grab him, get him. I wasn't like bad, like put him away bad, but I was just like, oh, this kid, this goddamn Jameek boy, this, you know what I'm saying? So I always had to have that special care. And in my household, I was always like the little clown and the prankster.
Wow. So the bad kid in the classroom, was you the class clown, JP?
Oh my God, listen to me. You did not want to be, especially like in my high school, in my high school years, you did not want to be in my class, because boy, out of the whole school, it was just like a few of us that really knew how to snap, and I was one of them.
So you were a comedian from your childhood.
I was always making people. Okay, here we go. I remember I was always making people laugh no matter what. Like I remember always being a little like prankster and clown and making people laugh. But I remember the very first time I was actually making a crowd of people laugh was on the back of the you say you from Harlem. I know you remember the BX30 bus. Remember it was the BX30 that took you over 145th. So we was on the BX30, and Friday the 13th, the one with the black kid Dudley from Different Strokes, was on Friday the 13th. And I remember seeing the movie saying, God damn, that black kid ran. I ain't never seen nobody in no Friday the 13th run the way that black kid ran. And I remember doing a whole bit about Dudley on the back of a bus, and people, the kids was hollering. Even people, like grown people that didn't even know me, was just sitting there shaking their head. And I just had the whole back of the bus laughing on Dudley.
Wow. So other than wanting to be a comedian, before you graduated from high school, did you go to college, get married, do any of those things?
Now, here's something that you just threw on me. I never wanted to be a comedian. You know what I wanted to be when I grew up, Crystal? I wanted to be a radio disc jockey. I remember hearing people like Chuck Leonard, 98.7 Kiss FM, and Jeff Fox, and all those guys. And I remember saying to myself, I want to talk to New York like that. I remember as a kid saying, I want to talk to New York like that. And so I always wanted to be a radio disc jockey.
What about Frankie Crocker? You wanted to be there?
All those guys. Yes. Oh yeah. Come on. That's a king pleasure. So I always wanted to be a radio disc jockey. And then later on, I wanted to be a motivational speaker because I got latched on to Les Brown as a young kid. So I never even wanted to be a comedian. So what had happened was, I don't know what year TLC came out.
Yes.
I was in college. Here we go. BMCC, 13th grade. and I was taking camera work, all that stuff. We're learning how to do cameras and all that stuff. So they had taught us how to write a storyboard. So what I had did was wrote this storyboard out for TLC's Hat to the Back. There was a song that they had called Hat to the Back. I took the bus. I packed my family up from the on a bus from not a bus, like we took a car there, but we basically bust down that way. And we went to Atlanta when Atlanta was brand new and people was just starting to move to Atlanta. And I took my storyboards to LaFace Records, hoping that they would see it and I would get picked. Nothing ever happened, but that's where I wanted to be. And then somebody said to me, yo, man, it's not what you know, it's who you know.
Right.
Yo, you always making people laugh. Why don't you do comedy? My mother-in-law at the time, because it's my second wife. I'm on my second wife. My first wife, her mother was like, hey, I'll pay for this comedy class. She gave me the money. I went to the comedy class and I started doing comedy in white rooms. So in like 89, 90, I was doing white rooms. And I'm still in BMCC. And then all of a sudden, down in the lunchroom, there was a comedy show going on. And I said, let me go see what these comics look like. So I went down there and I saw all these black comics, Sabrina Lamb, GQ, JB Smooth, Face Man. And they were speaking how I speak. Like they weren't speaking that white, when I just came from Chicago and boy, my arms are tired. They wasn't doing that comedy. They was doing it like how we do it. And I was so fascinated. I said, hey, yo, where are you guys at? They was like, yo, the Uptown Comedy Club. And thus began my career